A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts became the first player ever to have 2 or more rushing touchdowns and 1 or more passing touchdowns in a Super Bowl. But that doesn't make up for the fact that Eagles lost that game. Jalen Hurts determined to change that outcome next time around.
I remember sitting there, 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid, and saying, my sophomore year starts tomorrow. And nothing changes now. Nothing changes now. Going into year 4, hungrier than ever, starving for more. And, you know, I just want to, you know, challenge myself to be the best quarterback leader, man, I can be for my teammates in the city and impact the people around me in the right way. So maybe the next time around we can finish it off how we want to.
To be the best quarterback, the best leader, that's a fantastic personal challenge for Jalen Hurts to take on. But for the Eagles to challenge themselves to return to the Super Bowl is a mighty one. There are 15 other teams in the NFC that are going to have a say in this, trying to knock the Eagles off another run back on the NFC side of things to reach the throne next season. Peter, if you had to pick a team, not named the Eagles, to take care and do what the Eagles did this year, who would it be on the NFC side of things?
I thought the Eagles were so dominant. They ran through the NFC. They lost to one team in the conference, that was Washington, and they quickly went through the playoffs and outscored opponents 69-14 before the Super Bowl. And yet I kind of want to see the 49ers get a chance to run it back. I feel like we were robbed of what could have been an all-time showdown between great defense and amazing offensive line. And I feel like the Niners actually bring back a lot of their star players. The question, of course, is who's going to be playing quarterback?
Yeah, get into it.
Do we know if Brock Purdy going to be back in time to do this? Or do we know if Brock Purdy's even going to win outright? Free agent-wise, the 49ers, if we're doing an initial look here on February 16th of what they've got to know what we're doing. Mike McClinchy, he's a big name. Of course, we want to know what's going on with Jimmy Ward, who every year I feel like is a free agent. Other than that, I'm looking at this list of guys. Brunskill's a good offensive lineman. Ebukam was great on the edge, but like, it's not like all of a sudden they got to sign Bosa or Kittle or or McCaffrey. They're under contract. They're coming back. Debo will be back. He got his deal last year.
Can I ask you a question? Is Trey Lance good?
I think this is a great question, and they're going to explore it, honestly, over the next 6 months. I don't know.
Does Shanahan know?
I also don't know if he's been given the opportunity to prove he is good. In week 1, he loses to the Bears. Week 2, they have him running out there like he's all of a sudden Adrian Peterson, and he hurts his ankle, and he's done.
Was it week 2?
It was week 2.
Oh, my God.
So before we move on to Jason, I would say that the 49ers have this like feeling of like unfinished business, and Brock Purdy got hurt. And then Joshua Johnson was in the quarterback spot, and that wasn't even a fair deal because he had just been thrown in. And I feel like the Niners feel like they still belonged in the Super Bowl. And you heard that all Super Bowl week when you heard things from everyone, from Brandon Ayuk doing an interview over Zoom to the guys on Radio Row, including McCaffrey, who was like, we had a third-string guy. Kittle was talking about it openly. Niners are out for blood, and I feel like they want to right that wrong. I just don't know who's at quarterback starting week 1.
Yeah, and I think Trey Lance was such a high draft pick that if you're the 49ers, you have to believe that he's still good.
But at this point, after year 3, like when you go into year 3, do you still say, like, or do you say, hey, we win the NFC Championship without him? Like, does he really deserve that spot to lose?
I mean, but at this point now, Brock Purdy goes down with an injury. Now, Brock Purdy finishes the season.
Then we had something.
That's one thing, but now him going down with an injury.
Fine by training camp.
Who else they got?
Yeah, it'll be fine, but let's just see. I'm excited to see what you draft a guy that high. I don't think you're just ready to move on just because your 7th round draft pick hit, but who knows? The team that the 49ers went against earlier in the playoffs was the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm leaning into them. How about them boys? Dak Prescott, he only threw all those interceptions. It was only because of the thumb injury. That was the only reason he threw all of those interceptions. Next year is going to be totally different. He's going to be slinging the rock around. They got Kellen Moore out of there. Mike McCarthy's taking over the play calling. They're going to bring Tony Pollard back. Ezekiel Elliott, they're going to find a common place when it comes to the contract. Gallup is another year removed off of his ACL. Got to shore some things up on the offensive line, the defensive side, possibly bring Dalton Schultz back. But outside of all of that, and we saw them go against the Eagles in that late in the season, able to win, obviously no Jalen Hurts. But outside of all of that, they're just missing a piece. And that piece, Jerry Jones talked about it throughout the end of the season. All season's here. Give me Odell Beckham
Oh,
Jr.
the sweepstakes.
Put the star on the side of his helmet. We talked about it. I mean, is there a better fit for this guy, him and Jerry Jones? The amount of jerseys that he can sell with Odell Beckham Jr. in the locker room, on the football field. He is the missing piece. Bring him in there at the receiver position, opposite already CD Lamb as the #1 guy. Cowboys to the Super Bowl.
2 for 2. 2 days in a row for you.
If
Follow
Odell's
that,
running
Kyle.
around in a Cowboys helmet in the Super Bowl, I don't know if society's gonna be able to take it. We actually have to start stockpiling canned goods and shotgun shells. Like, just it's gonna be martial law. All right, so this is interesting because I think Aaron Rodgers, one way or another, is gonna lead the NFC. I do. Whether he retires or stay, I just think. So if that happens, after Jalen Hurts, who's the best quarterback in the NFC? Is it Dak? Is it
healthy Stafford?
Is it healthy Stafford? Is it Kirk Cousins? Is it Derek Carr who enters the NFC? Is it possible it's Jared Goff? Jared Goff played great the last 2 months of the season. I'm going with Detroit.
Yeah!
I'm going with Detroit because a couple reasons. Money to spend.
Yeah.
Great momentum. Good quarterback. Coach who had it cooking. Guys, they have the 6th pick. They have the 18 pick. They were the hottest team in football. They bashed the Packers in the last week in Lambeau. It was the only thing that kept them out of the playoffs was just time. They ran out of time and they didn't start the season strong enough. They wanted to play a game next week. Let's play week 1 right now and we will beat anybody in the league. Money to spend, picks to spend, talent, quarterback, coach. I'm not afraid of the NFC North right now. I really am not. I like the Lions. It'd be really cool. That's my take.
I like it.
All of these conversations, I had a team, but I'm going to deflect. It's making me think about the future that we have for the next couple of months together. I think we need to, by the end of tomorrow, pick a team that's going to have the most electric offseason, because it sounds like you would maybe put the Lions up for that. I also think I want to come up with a question that will lead the league in yet to be answered by August, which it sounds like is Trey Lance a good quarterback. That would be on the board. And so by the end of tomorrow, we should come up with a few options of most electric offseason, maybe most boring offseason, question that will definitely be answered, and then question that will not be answered by August, but we're going to still have to talk about it. Because
I want to throw the Bears hat in the ring for questions in the offseason with what Fields is saying, with having the #1 pick, with the stadium, with all kinds of stuff.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. Deal?
Yep.
Deal. All right. Coming up on our show.
It's the Snow Globes! Up 14-3 with a minute left against the Raiders. #1 seed on the board. Chiefs pull out one of the most memorable plays of the season, a trick play that was actually flagged and didn't count, but we're counting it because it was symbolic of the fun they were having. They didn't care. Disrespectful? Disrespectful? How about thinking the Chiefs weren't going to win this division? That's disrespectful, Raiders. They take it to that. An incredible trick play. It symbolizes so much of this season, and of course, it's Kadarius Toney, a guy that they took a shot on when another team moved on him.
How is Snow Globe 10? That means the rest of the plays are unbelievable. Week 9, tied at 17. This is an overtime against the Titans. Oh, my. Mahomes finds Noah Gray downfield, bobbles that ball 17 times and comes down with it somehow. But also, Mahomes, of course, was out of the pocket, absolutely scrambling. Comes down with it, sets up a game-winning field goal a few plays later to secure an overtime win, a clutch grab by Noah Gray.
Yes, and let's go from #9 right to #8. And this is Patrick Mahomes just doing what he does, faking the handoff, already up 2 scores against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Gets out of sight. Just throw it away. Just throw it away. Nope, I'm going to spin. I'm going to jump in the air, and I'm going to find Edwards-Helaire in the back of the end zone. Patrick Mahomes, Houdini, whatever, the wizardry, as Tony Romo called it. This guy just does unbelievable things week in and week out. And sometimes we forget about some of the amazing plays that he had. But this was all the way back against the Buccaneers, up 2 scores from the 2-yard line. We're not just going to hand the ball off. We're going to do it just how we drew it up.
And we're going to draw up some September, guys. Let's go all the way back to week 2. Chargers-Chiefs Thursday night. Remember this one, tied at 17. Justin Herbert tries to go to Gerald Everett. It's picked up by Jalen Watson in one of the biggest plays you will see all year, one of the longest plays. returns it all the way for the pick. Look at this. Remember Everett was like fatigued, and then there was this discussion the next day.
Yes.
Remember that?
Remember he worked at Wendy's with his mother? This was Jalen
Yes.
Watson, 7th round
Wendy's
pick.
with his mother. He likes
Finds his
pick,
way.
and he likes a square burger with a Frosty. Drives a little bit of skin on the end of him. I don't mind it at all. That's number 7. Jalen Watson, 99-yard pick 6.
Yeah, that was number 7 early in the season. We go a little bit later in the season. Denver giving a formidable foe here, and they come all the way back against Kansas City until Mahomes does this. Whoop! Just a look away.
That's 6.
That was amazing. That's 6.
I know.
That was on 3rd and 2. 456 yards to Jet McKinnon. I love the guys on the receiving ends of these. We've got Tony, we've got McKinnon, we've got Noah Gray. It shows you the story of the Chiefs season.
You have to leave the last 5 for the postseason, and that's what we're going to take
Yeah.
now. Chad Henne had to come in for Patrick Mahomes because Mahomes suffered that high ankle sprain. Heels on the end zone. Chad Henne had to go down 98 yards, finds Travis Kelce in the end zone. A ridiculous, some would say, oh, that's an easy route, easy pass. No. 98 yards, no matter who you are playing in the postseason, is damn near impossible. It put the Chiefs up 10 late in the first half. Enough of a cushion for Mahomes to come back in and win the game.
Anything is possible. Chad Henne getting it done. And like Jamie said, we're staying right in the playoffs and an AFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes finding time.